feeling hope that it works. Uh, we have um, so YouTube has updated that stuff works a little bit. I am doing my best to make sure. Okay, excellent. Looks good. Hi, welcome to live streaming. I don't just gonna keep it in just in case. Um, we've been working for a while on a assistant that lets us basically take the New York Times dialect quiz. So you're asked a bunch of questions about how you say various things. In the original quiz, it was in a multiple choice format, and for us, it is in a conversational format because it's a chatbot, a conversational AI, however you want to talk about it, conversational interface. And once you answer all the questions about how you say various things, we run a classifier and give you the 3 states in the United States that it sounds most like you're from based on your language. And the data for this is actually the same data as this. It's from the Harvard Dialect Quiz and courtesy of, oh my God, I'm blanking. I should have had one more coffee. Bert Fox. Wow. Thank you so much, Bert, for sharing the data with us. Hello, Fiza. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so that's what we've been working on. And it's up, it's running, it works. Mostly there's some weird thing with my GitHub connection that I think it might have to do with the way that I'm using GitHub desktop locally on my Windows computer. But that's a problem for future Rachel, because today what we're going to do is, and it's not still open, what we're going to do is fix the future warnings. So when we've been training our assistant, there are a couple things that came up and that we got little warnings about. And a future warning is just like, hey, this is going to be a problem in the future. It's not a problem right now. But I think it's worthwhile to spend some time trying to fix them now, because the next thing we're going to do with this assistant, the next big thing, is convert it from Rasa 1. I don't remember my specific subversion to Rasa 2.0. So before we do that, I want to make sure that we have like a nice stable 1.0 version that we can always roll back to if we. So the specific future warnings that we got were one about job lib, and the other was about our classifier pipeline. So let's start with this, because I'm guessing that this is going to be the one that's going to be a little bit funkier. So our pipeline right now is using supervised embeddings with English, and I believe the recommendation was that we use convert. So let's pop open the Rasa docs and look in the pipeline section and figure out what's going to be the best thing for us to do here. Also, our docs recently got a big upgrade and update, and they look much better. But if you notice anything is not working the way it should, let us know. It's we're working on it. So if something is up, that might be the reason. Oh no, not Rasa X. Whoops. Rasa open source. And these are for 2.0, and currently we're on 1.0. So let's really quickly just make sure that we're on the right version of the docs. This looks right. And you can see that they also look pretty different. So the 2.0 have this really nice, I don't know how you'd call this. I'm not a designer. This just looks a little bit more modern to me. I don't know why. Ooh, out of shot. Shoot. And the 1.0 docs have, I don't know, a little bit less white space in the, I don't know what the difference is, but they look different. So, installation basics, we are interested in looking at our pipeline and seeing if we can get diet set up. Actually, not convert, diet in the pipeline. Yeah, so this supervised embeddings pipeline, which is the one that we're using currently, is deprecated. So the reason that we're updating it is so that we have the latest version, and it worked good. Substa says, hi Robin. Can you please tell how to deploy the chatbot to a website? Not today, but we definitely have heard that people would like more deployment tutorials, so that's something we're planning on getting to at an unspecified future timeline, because I can't promise dates. I mean, I can, but they might be wrong, and I don't want to lie to folks. All right. Actually, I think. Okay. So this pipeline that we're using currently, the supervised embeddings one, is currently deprecated. Oh yeah, and the old docs had this thing where the panel covers the text, and that is fixed in docs. Thankfully, I'm very delighted about it. Please list any components you want directly in the configuration file. So this supervised embeddings pipeline was sort of a pre-packaged pipeline that we suggested for folks. Did I send that tweet I wrote? So what we want to do is we want to change our pipeline to reflect sort of the most recent tools available. Our assistant is in English, so we can use the English language and get that up and running. So this is a recommended starter pipeline because we are using English. So I'm just going to copy this and see if it works. And I'm guessing we're going to run into some issues. And sufficient unto the day. We'll wait until we run into the issues to fix them. So this uses the pipeline for Convert, which is a transformer-based dialogue model that we did not develop, but works really well and we recommend. Regular expression featurizer, lexical syntactic featurizer, count vectors. I believe we had count vectors in the supervised embedding, so this stuff isn't going to change. And then we have a diet classifier. So to get our intents and entities out, we're actually doing that at the same time using, I think it's multitask learning. Vincent has a really good video series that goes into a lot more depth on this particular algorithm, and then a synonym mapper, which I think is the same in embedded pipeline, and then the response selector. So let's try training. And this should, directory, and this should get rid of one of the future warnings that we got because we updated our pipeline, but not the second one, which is the job-lib future warning. Nothing changed. Oh, right. Right, because the pipeline doesn't change it's what happens when your model runs, not the training of the model. No, that's not right. It should change how the model is. I didn't save the file. It should change how the model is trained. Oh. All right. So you can see that we didn't get the future warning about supervised embeddings, but we did get some other stuff going on in Anaconda, and I believe this is going to be specifically about package versions. Pranav says, I'm procrastinating by watching Livecoding, doom scrolling on Twitter. It's not great. It hasn't been very good this week. And drinking a pint of IPA. I mean, if it's the evening for you, that sounds like a perfectly reasonable Friday evening thing to do. All right, so which package is giving us problems? My guess is TensorFlow text. But the TensorFlow text team keeps saying that they're going to support Windows. I think there was a deadline that they had said that they were working towards that has passed recently, so I have hope that it's going to work. Yeah, it's TensorFlow text. That's weird. All right. And we are in an Anaconda environment already. So if I pip install it, is it going to install it in the environment? I don't think it is. I think we need all package in Conda. Calling with Conda. I don't know why it is that I have such a hard time remembering the Conda syntax specifically. It's just Conda install. All right. Wish me luck. If this works, I'll be delighted. If it doesn't, it's almost certainly a environment issue because of the window. Package not found, not available on Conda. All right. I guess let's try pip. That works. So a lot of the matching. Oh, interesting. Conda install tensor flow text. All right, so here's the page for all of TensorFlow. So maybe we need to specify that we're getting it from Conda 4. Try that. And it was okay, it knows it exists, maybe. Trying with flexible solve. Ironments. If it's a recent thing, we also may need to build from source. My voice keeps cutting out. Let me know if that helps. I've adjusted the thing. Actually, another thing that might help. One sec. All right, that might help as well. So I have a number of different filters on audio, and I've adjusted one of the noise suppression ones, which could be it. It's also raining pretty hard here in Seattle, so the background noise of the rain might also be. Okay. All right, let's go to anaconda.org and search for TensorFlow text. What happens? Must log in to search private packages. Install TensorFlow text in Anaconda. So it well, I guess we can try just doing a fresh TensorFlow install. That may break our Rasa install, but we can always downgrade. So let's give that a shot and see. Because if they've updated it recently, then this time it might install. Voice is good. Okay, thank you. Okay. So this is something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and I've just been putting off, is updating our pipeline to use a more recent version, and it's because of this TensorFlow text Windows dependency mismatch. Sphinx. I'm not the biggest fan of Spider. It's downgraded. All right, let's double check what we're changing. The editor. New packages will be installed. Package plan. Or kind of a newer version of Conda exists. I'm okay with my current version, actually. For the moment, at least. It depends. Paris stuff, Markdown, TensorFlow, or TensorFlow base, TensorFlow estimator. Base TensorFlow estimator. Yeah, let's give that a shot and see if it works. I don't know specifically what TensorFlow text is part of. Meanwhile, I'm going to Google another window. Installing Tensor. Enrique says it's a headache if you have Python 3. I think this conda environment is 3.6, and that's set in the environment variables. So I am perhaps undeservedly optimistic that we're going to be able to make this work. And again, I can always just downgrade again. Quest is a dependency of conda cannot be removed from conda's operating environment. All right, that's fine. See if we can train now. If this works, fantastic. I don't think it's going to. I genuinely don't think it is. Yeah, for sure, it did not work. All right. Oh, okay, so you definitely can. I've been poking around. It looks like it is on PyPI. Blah, blah, blah. Further documentation on GitHub. All right, let's see if we can pip install this. I don't love mixing. Actually, let's first see if we can conda install. Because I don't love mixing pip and conda. Why don't you love it, Rachel? It creates interesting errors, and that's not what I want in my life. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. All right, let's try pip. I think this is the Windows error. I think the distribution is specifically for Windows. All right. Please note the version of TensorFlow you're running, as you should specify the corresponding minor version of TensorFlow text. How do I get a package version? How do I see version in Anaconda? List of packages. The list. I believe we just installed it with Conda, yeah? 2.1.0. All right, and then TensorFlow text equals 2.1.0. Let's see if this works. Nice, nice. Great. Okay. Enrique says, why not requirement.text ready for installing? I am going to need to update my requirements. The main reason is that I don't know that this is actually going to work, again, because if I were on a Linux system, this would absolutely work. So I've done this on my Mac and it's fine. But we are currently on Windows, and there are some dependencies for TensorFlow text in particular that I think that okay, so I think like 3 months ago they were like, it'll be done in 2 months. Let's just see the open issues and see if they have undefined symbol, OSX wheels, source on Mac. Component disables TensorFlow GPU. That's okay. I don't think I'm using TensorFlow GPU. All right. Something we wish to add. Incompatible. January 11th. Any new updates? Still no, still no. June. No official news. July. 2.4. Release version 6 was a core TF branch, but may release a beta earlier if we're ready, but the core branch doesn't look to release. Can't give a specific date. Wait. I know Christina. Sorry. It's just like a weird thing. Okay, well, delete. We're not gonna be able to do any of this. It's still not available. I should have just looked first before I tried, but I was full of hope. Welp. Rip me, I guess. All right. Let's retrain with a working pipeline, or at least an installed pipeline. I'd love to use convert. I'd love to use diet. Nothing's changed. All right. Cool. All right. Guys, questions about the emails. Like, somebody might have done it. I just haven't, and I feel like I wouldn't want to do it live for authentication, just because I feel like there's a lot of potential for doing things slightly insecurely, but how to remove random characters from a string. FTFY if you're in Python. Way. If it's like HTML garbledness, this will fix it. Mostly, I mean, it's probabilistic, right? So it's not gonna get everything. But it'll help with this sort of thing. Okay. Well, that's frustrating. I don't want to deal with joblib now. I'm tired of installing. Let's table that for now until the TensorFlow 2.4 release. Which who knows when that's going to be? I don't. Something else I've been thinking about is when we're using our assistant. So actually, let's just pop open a. I'm just going to pop open a local version of Rasa X. Just so we can have a slightly nicer thing. Oh, and there's our warnings. Task was destroyed, but it's pending. Here's the job lib deprecation warning. And then this is the so this is the warning we're getting because we're using the supervised embeddings pipeline and not the convert pipeline. Sorry, the diet classifier, which we just can't do yet and will do at some point in the future once TensorFlow 2.4 is out. So one thing that I have been noticing, let's have a quick convo so it model selected. Oh. Nope, these are the same model. Fascinating. So I'm gonna make this one active. And just have a quick conversation just so I can show you what the problem is. We start a conversation. Oh, I still haven't fixed the localhost thing. It's gonna take a while. I would love to take a quiz. Yes, please. And when I start taking the quiz, so you can see here that this intent is identified as bot challenge, but the form continues. And what should happen is if an intent is identified as bot challenge, we should pause the form and answer the question. And I've been thinking a lot about this and how we can fix it. And I think the first thing that we can do is provide more examples for the inform intent so that it covers more of the things that people will actually do with the assistant. Because right now, we don't have a lot of entities that we have a lot of training data for. So instead of extracting the entities, we're just taking any input that the user gives and then matching it to one of the multiple choice answers using fuzzy matching. But because of the way that we set that up, any text that the user puts in is going to go through that process. And if it should be a different intent and a different action should happen, that's not happening. And I think the first thing that we can do to make this work better is to have, so this should be the inform intent. And what I want to do is provide more examples of stuff in the inform intent that people might actually say. And I think that will help us quite a bit. So we should have in here somewhere, I think in model bits. Yeah, okay, so in here we have answers for input validation. And these are all of the answers for our quiz. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy these and I'm going to paste them into the inform intent and then see if we can get slightly better results for identifying when that intent is being used. Where's there's out piece out right now in the NLU file. Venat says they're called diacritics, but I don't know how to replace them. If you're specifically looking to remove diacritics for a lot of Unicode stuff, there will be the character part and then like an extension that means this is a specific diacritic, and you can remove just the diacritic extension. But I think using something like Fix That For You is going to be a better choice, because if you just remove diacritics from language data, you are liable to remove important information. So if you have somebody with, say, a name with an accent in it, and you remove that from them, it's no longer their name, and they, I think, would be rightfully kind of miffed that you did that. So, all right. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this the dumb way. I was like, is it worth doing a regex just to do all of this? And I don't know that it is. Also, I'm tired in the brain, and I think some simple, just like messing with text stuff by hand is about the level I'm at right now. Yeah. How's everybody doing? How's your weeks? We don't need a bunch of others also. And if this were more than like 20 questions, I'd probably do it not by hand. And actually what I can do is yeah, there we go. Give myself a little head start. Is that the right way, or is that the right way? I think that's the right way. Oh, actually, what I want is line, and yeah. There we go. That'll help. Now we just need to do a little bit of tidying. All right. I worked a little bit smarter, not harder. Saley says, how do we deal if we have multiple intents having a similar kind of input, e.g. age 25 years, duration of something 2 years? Currently I am using forms, but can there be a better way? Yeah, that's a really good question. I think forms make sense. because it sounds like from your specific example, these are going to be answers to particular questions, and not just something that people are like starting the conversation with. Like people are not going to randomly in the middle of the conversation be like 4 years, and you have to figure out if they're talking about a 4-year-old human or a that they've done something for 4 years, like a 4-year duration. So I think forms are going to be the easiest way to do that for your specific case. All right. Robbie says this week is getting boring. Coding, boring, never. Working in tech is always exciting. Sorry, I'm being a little bit sarcastic. I'm also tired. I know, I've been saying that a lot, but it continues to be true. Oh, actually, so one of these terms, the night before Halloween, which is coming up, I have a friend that apparently says a gate night for that, which is I know. And he is Connecticut. He's from somewhere up north. He's a Yankee, but he's fine. So I'm going to see if adding all of these answers improves what are... I think adding all of these answers will improve what the inform intent looks like. And what we can do in the future, if we want to, is create these as entities. I would prefer not to, though, because that's going to make it much more rigid how the things work. No. Faisa says it would be better if I did like tiny chatbot projects instead of always fixing problems. I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think it's a little bit more satisfying. That's part of the reason why Vincent is doing his breakout project, so you can like a little bit more of a polished project where he's doing sort of all the figuring off screen. But I mean, Rasa is a tool for big, robust chatbot projects, and that scale up really big, and sort of continuous development and fixing things and improving them over time, and having a really complex, multifaceted project is like what we want to support. And like, of course, obviously, small, fun, personal projects, absolutely fine. But we want to make sure that we can also support those larger, more robust projects. So I'm trying to like show how like the continual development process. I'm not doing a whole bunch of DevOps, I will say, which I know is a big thing. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get some deployments up and running. But I want to make sure that it, like at this point, it sort of does what I say it does, but it has some pretty major issues that I want to fix before I'm like, hey, anybody can use this at any time. All right, so fill that. There we go. Fill this. There we go. And let's retrain, and then I think I closed my Rasa X window, so we'll relaunch Rasa X and our server and see if we can't get better results. And if we can't, I'm just going to go through and correct some of those intents to inform. So we should need to train now because we've added a lot of new NLU data, and I wouldn't be surprised if it took like a little bit to do. Hi, Brock. Robbie says it takes 7 months. Please carry on Maddie's project. I mean, I'm only working it on it on the stream, so it's 7 months like calendar time, but I think we're up to like a week and a half of just like if this were a full work week and this is all I was working on. All right. Rasa Z is nothing. All right. Pop Rasa X up. And this is just in local mode. We do have a server running as well, but there's a little bit of a GitHub issue right now that I said I was going to maybe fix, but probably wouldn't. And wouldn't you know, I didn't. It's been a busy week. Robbie says, Maddie made a trailer. I didn't remember the project. I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. I don't. That one, right? I'm not compatible. Oh, so you can see these are from. Let's talk. Let's see how this works. So he says their answers to particular questions. Thanks. Yeah, you're very welcome. I hope it helps. Yes, I'd love to take a quiz. Well, let's take this for real and just see how it goes. What do you call? I call that a roly-poly. Bug? Big? No, I say roly-poly. All right, and I think will inform. Fantastic, that looks good. I think what I'll also do is save this as a test conversation and then add it to our tests. That'll help a little bit as well. Something's up. Something is up. So you see how the action is elicitation form, right? But then we don't see that the form name is actually elicitation form here. And it's not requesting the slot. So it should be. All its utterances. And no, that is right. Hmm. Something's up. Ooh, it's restarting the elicitation form. Don't love that. Don't love that. Also, I want to out of here. There we go. Okay. Ooh, okay. I'm a little worried now. Robbie says, Maddie made a fitness-related bot. Trailer. There we go. Okay, it's working this time. I don't know why it didn't work last time. Curious. I'd call that soda. Yeah, and she did an AI healthcare assistant. I wonder if that's for the starter packs, maybe? Is that what you're talking about? Oh. Okay, so you can see that this one is in form. This one is in form. I say I'm different. Form, okay. I don't know. I don't think this is in our training data. See if it's picking up. Okay, so you can see here that the intent is incorrect. So this should actually be in form as well. Correct it. Vanette was the trailer was for the NLP for devs play. Yeah, and that's going on. That's there should be one up next Monday actually. I need to. So this should be form. What do you call it when the rain falls when shining? I don't know. Inform. Form. I think that might restart the illicit form. Oh, it just went back to the last question. Don't have. What do you call a miniature? It's a crawfish. Form is correct. So as I'm going through and doing this conversation, I'm making sure that all of these intents are in form, which it looks like they are. Don't have a word for it. Good. Inform. Yes. Good. I'd call it an SUV. I'd call it a sub. But I think it'll be corrected. Yeah. And inform. Good. That's an access road. Small road that runs parallel to the highway. What do you call tennis shoes, I think? Inform. Yes, yes. Okay, so this is way better. And I'm just gonna see what happens if I do just the letter A, because previously that was identified as a bot challenge. Still a bot challenge. So here's the question: are people going to actually use this in their? Do I want to change what this intent is? I think the only person that's just saying A to the bot is me when I'm testing it. And if I just start typing random letters to a person, maybe that is a bot challenge. And especially if the bot challenge is like, yes, I'm an assistant and here's the things I can do, that might be an appropriate time in this conversation to do that. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I want to change this, but I do in the future want to be able to, if a bot challenge happens, we deal with the bot challenge and then we come back and do this. Let's hand that. But it says Autobahn. That's a German. But like, there's no speed limit on the Autobahn, right? You can just go as fast as you want. Which means I'd be doing 30. I don't especially like highway driving. Rubbernecking. Do you say frosting or icing? If it's a spread, it's frosting. Icing has to. But it says yard sale, yeah. Or yard sard. There's a sort of an internet joke, a sign that somebody put up advertising their yard sale that said yard sard. Which, I mean, good advertising. Everybody saw the sign. Lawyer. I don't know why I have to say it out loud every time. What term do you use to refer to the diagonal, kitty corner, or catawampus? But I know that's not in the training data. That's a very localized term. That's a firefly. Enrique says, if the bot doesn't understand, it is a not challenge, actually, and it should ask for further Yeah, so you're saying that should trigger the fallback intent. Or sorry, because the thing is that it's pretty sure that's informed. Good. It's pretty sure if we go back to it, that it is a bot. Like it's about, the confidence is about 26. And I believe that our threshold is below that. Although what we can do, let's pop this down. That's a good point. I think that is. Nope, it's in config. So let's actually set the threshold for the fallback intent a little bit lower. Because none of the others have been below like 90%. So let's set the fallback threshold a little bit later. Oh, this is the new one. This is version 2.0. Where you can have a specific intent that is out of scope. Here we go. Okay, confidence threshold. And that's just going to be in the pipeline. believe it has to be that right. Wow, we have got a lot of windows open. That's how I work. No, it is indented. Not. Yes, we can train that next and see how that goes. What I want is my Rasa X instance back. Nope. This one? Yes, excellent. All right, that's the verge. And then we can save this conversation and hopefully have better test results. So we'll save this as a test once we're done. That's a brew through. Lee says, do you have any thoughts about capturing the functional failure of a bot? Like if the user left the chat unexpectedly, though the bot flow was correct. Oh, like they're not able to do the thing that they want to do? Yeah, that's something that I'd probably flag or have my annotators flag. You could also use that as sort of a target metric, like how many times do people just like leave in the middle of a conversation? Although I don't think it's necessarily a problem if people leave in a conversation. Like if you're trying to, you know, update, I'm just using a telecom bot as an example, like you're trying to update your service plan to get more internet minutes or whatever. And then you've done it, and then the bot's like, do you want to take a satisfaction, sir? And they're already gone. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a problem, right? But I would definitely, I think tracking that and knowing what percentage of conversations don't complete and what percentage of conversations hit like specific goals that you want can be really useful. And if it's happening a lot, then if you don't have a a conversational UX designer, that might be a good reach out to. Or I don't know if you could get like user reviews. Water fountain. Vedant says drinking fountain. Yeah, drinking fountain isn't wrong to me. Now that ain't right. All right, so the next thing should be after the form is done. What are slot values? Then after that, we should run tech dialect. And then we should tell people what the dialect is. That should be right. And then utter dialect value. And then we should find out what our dialect is. Oh no. That ain't right. That is not right. Ah, so this should say there are some states that you come from, and it doesn't. So something's up. Let's check our server. Yeah, what's going on? All right. File not found, state level knn.joblib. Except here's the thing, it should be found because it's right there in that directory, boo. Well, it's a pickle problem. So remember back when I pickled the model, pickle is just saving a Python object with serialization so you can load it in. As long as you have the exact same version of all the packages and dependencies. And we're not using TensorFlow in our model, we're using scikit-learn and a k-nearest neighbors model. That's that tech debt. That thing that I was like, it's good enough for now and we'll deal with it later, has come back to haunt me, like Spectre of Christmas Past, and I am going to have to deal with this. And I think the way that I'm going to have to deal with this is retraining the model in a new version, or see if I can't do a more hierarchical model like HDF5. Except the last time I checked, there wasn't a simple way to do that with a scikit-learn KNN, and Pickling was the simplest way to do it. Well, I'm tired. So we've looked at our future warnings, and what we've learned is that the one from Rasa about how you want to update to diet, we can ignore for right now. I'm gonna save this though. 0.7 I think is reasonable. We don't think we've had anything below 0.7. Wow, I don't want to do this. Okay, no, it's fine. I knew that there would come a day when we needed to handle the pickling and the versions and everything. So that day is next Wednesday. Next week, we're going to be focusing on how we can get our model to work again. So that thing where it says, like, you sound like you came from none, it means that the model was not run at all. So we get no answers. Not to work. Oh, what I do want is a nap. So I think I'm going to call it here. I know it's a little bit early, but I am tired, and it is, well, it's not that early. So next week, we are going to be continuing to work on the job lib thing, and just, fix it. We knew it would be a problem when we did it, and we still did it, and it worked for a bit, and now it doesn't anymore, and that's why serializing models is a friggin' headache, but we'll make it. But it says pickle.loads, but it is not a pickle, it is a job lib. So it's the same thing. They're both libraries that serialize Python objects they're using. One and not the other. And I don't remember why I think joblib was recommended in the scikit-learn docs, and that's why we went with it instead. Faces says you're always tired, lol. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot that's making me tired right now. I'm sort of like, as I imagine most of you are dealing with, just long-term high levels of stress. There's one of my friends who's in epidemiology shared something recently where there's sort of over long-term disasters, there's sort of like a psychological response curve where like right after or during the disaster happening, people like have like sort of like a peak of resilience, or like, okay, we got this, we're gonna band together and do it, and then there's like a woof, a sort of a crash, and then that's gonna happen for most people in fall and winter. So yeah, make sure you're all taking good care of yourselves, physically and emotionally. Important network. We're doing things to. So, uh, I told you many times. Oh, dog, I'm fine. Stressful time right now. And thank you, Anshuti. Keep it up. Great work so far. All right, so let's call it here. I'll be back on Wednesday. We're gonna job lib. Oh, and then on Thursday we're gonna start a new paper that I will post about in the YouTube community tab if you want to take a look at it beforehand. And on Friday, more live coding. I will see you then. Talk to you later.